When I went overseas as an exchange student when I was 17, I'd come out of the Nazarene church, come out of the Nazarene context, and I found myself in a setting in the Netherlands with other people who were 16, 17, and 18 years old in the classroom. And for these European youth, belief was not axiomatic. Now that was 55 years ago. 55 years ago, belief was not axiomatic. I also encountered something else in the European context when I was 17 years old, and that was in one of the classes that I had to take in the gymnasium in the Netherlands was a class that introduced us to the evolution of intellectual thought in the West. And I heard about the Enlightenment. And I heard about this frame of reference in which there is supposedly a kind of objectivity. And that objectivity then allows you to be set free from the superstitions of religion. We call that the Enlightenment or modernity. When we began to realize that there was no real such thing as total objectivity, that all of us have vested interest, that we are all raised with certain kinds of assumptions, and that we are social beings, that we are social creatures, and that we are shaped and formed into a kind of subjectivity, or as it were, a kind of intersubjectivity. So in place of total objectivity, there emerged a kind of total subjectivity and it made tremendous strides in Western society. Different strokes for different folks. What I assert or believe is my business, and it's just as valid as yours. That's the Twitter universe. The intersubjectivity, well, you know, if I feel this way, and if I'm really sincere about this, what could possibly be wrong with that? Of course, the Bible says that you can believe a lie and be damned. But what if we just simply don't really know? What if we don't have any idea really what the possibilities are? Then the latest twit to come down the line, or is it tweet? Sorry, couldn't pass that up. The last tweet to come down the line becomes the conversation point. It becomes the frame of reference. It becomes the topic of the day. And so we live in an age of disbelief in which belief is no longer axiomatic. As a matter of fact, not believing in God or believing while living as a practical atheist is the new normative. That's the new normative. For the last decade, I've seen that in my seminary students. When I taught at Emory, we had an older population. When I went to Duke, the median age of our Div School students was right out of college. The median age was 23 years and 4 months. And those young people felt called of God. They were committed to the ministry. They were going to be doing God's work in the world. And they couldn't understand why they didn't have the same kind of confidence in their Christian faith that their grandparents had. And they were confused. They wanted it, they believed it, but somehow they couldn't stop questioning. They couldn't stop doubting. Because the world has squeezed us into a different kind of mold. A friend of mine in the UK says, in England says, if 1952 comes around again, the Methodist Church in England is ready. 52 ain't coming back. We have a worldview or social imaginary that's able to account for meaning and significance without any appeal to the divine or the transcendent. And so the church tries increasingly to be relevant by not having any specific expectations about norms, but by allowing the individual to define the norm. And it totally flattens out truth. But what we do then is we nail down, we believe this, we believe this, we believe this, we believe this. If you believe this, you're a Christian. If you don't believe that, then you're not a Christian, which means you're not really like me. I want to offer you a possible new kind of construal. This isn't new with me either. Susanna Wesley gave this to John Wesley. Wesley came to her and he said, I believe that this and this and this is true, and I am willing to submit my mind to that truth. To give mental assent to something as being true. Susanna said, Jackie, which is what she called John, Jackie, mental assent is not adequate to the subject under consideration, which is God. To give mere mental assent that something is true is not adequate. There must be fiducia, Susanna said, a sure abiding trust that the truth is transformational, accompanied by a willingness to be accountable to a faith community and to live into holiness. An accountable Christianity that is more than a mere mental assent, but it is a journey of discovery into transcendence. It's a journey of discovery into the holiness of God. It is heuristic, that is, it is characterized by discovery. And the life of holiness, the life of sanctification, the life of Christian perfection, the life of going on to perfection is a life which has to continually be characterized by discovery. There won't be easy answers. There won't be quick answers. If you want a quick and easy answer, don't go for holiness. Or if you want to reduce holiness to a mere mental assent as something being true, then you miss the point about holiness. Thank you very much.